Welcome, everyone, to the 2019 Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. We're here with the FPO lead card, round 2, out at Brazos Park East. The Beast, showing its teeth today with 25-mile-an-hour winds, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. We've got Paige Bjerkaas, Catrina Allen, myself, and Vanessa Dyken on the card. And I'm Sarah Hokom here with Paige Bjerkaas, calling all the shots.
What's up, everyone? We're on the back 9 of round 2.
Paige and Catrina are knotted up at -7 after some great play on the front. And here we are on the back. Hole 10, par 4, 591 feet. We actually tee from that tee you just saw right there, a little shorter than the men. It's a distance shot, a controlled distance shot off the tee, trying to get 3 to 350 up to the middle, leaving yourself a couple hundred feet to approach a tricky green that is plateaued with slopes all around it and trees on the right. You're going to try to maneuver all of these trees and give yourself a birdie look. It's a very birdieable hole, and I'll be up first. Throwing the trace. A little bit of a headwind here. And I turn it over into the trees. My woes continue.
Yeah, this is one of the more open holes on the back 9, so we feel the wind a little bit more on this hole than the other ones. Throwing a flippy trespass, trying to do a hyzer flip. I threw mine a little low, was kind of scared of that wind, but luckily I cut rolled into the middle. So, didn't get very far, but I'm still in the middle of the fairway. Looks like Vanessa's throwing a Nuke SS, also a nice flippy distance driver. She turns it over a little, but also cut rolls in the middle. So that wind, I think, is a lot stronger than we felt off the tee pad.
Yeah, it seems like about 50 feet up, it definitely got stronger. Throwing a relay from a standstill. It's a nice turning disc. Hits that tree and kicks it left, but I have a relatively open look to get up and down for par.
I'm throwing my verdict over stable mid-range. I'm trying to kind of S it between the trees. I feel like that's the only way I can get there. Oh, my bad. I was throwing a hyzer. Sorry. Mixing up my rounds. No, but I still threw a verdict, but I had more of a hyzer look than I remembered that I had. So Vanessa's lining up the S shot with probably an overstable mid-range.
Or fairway, it looks like.
Fairway? No. I think she turns it just a little too much.
She'll have a little work to do to get that par.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Kat is throwing probably a mid-range.
Probably her M2.
Mm-hmm.
She throws that thing really well. Leaves it a little short.
It's a little low.
Vanessa with her third shot.
Just trying to get up and down.
Blocker tree. Kicks her back, leaving her a long putt for par. I'm kind of blocked in these trees, throwing a little hyzer with an Eclipse Envy, trying to get it close. But I got a little excited.
That green has a lot of skip.
Yes.
A lot more than you'd think.
And it's so sloped. It's sloped with all those little trees in front as well. You're trying to miss. So really tricky to land right next to the pin like Kat did just then.
Yep, so I skipped a little left down the hill, so I'm outside the circle, so I'm doing one of my tester putt, or step putts, and I made it, luckily. It was a little scary because behind the basket there is that downhill, but I just committed, and luckily it went in.
Vanessa trying to recover with her par putt. I don't know, is this? I mean, I think it's in. It's pretty much what she's doing lately. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like she held on to that
I guess I shouldn't have bet on that one. So leaves herself a comebacker for bogey.
There you go.
There
That's the
it is.
Vanessa
I guess she's human. I guess she does miss them occasionally.
And that was a tough comebacker she had with that hill. She had to aim a little bit higher.
I also have a slight hill, a little bit of obstruction, low right. I'm not happy about that. That is just continuing to be putting issues. to find my stroke eventually. So a couple bogeys for me and Vanessa. Paige with a wonderful putt for the birdie, pulling ahead by 1. Hole 11, 279 par 3. From a relatively elevated tee pad, goes down into a little bit of a valley, and then goes back up to a very tricky plateaued green. Really rough trees on the right, really rough on the left. It's really important to keep it in the middle.
Yeah, I'm throwing my Lucid X Maverick, which is a pretty straight to understable fairway. I pulled it a little right, but I ended up getting inside the circle, so I was pretty happy about that. Kat is throwing her M4. Nice. I think she's trying
Little yank.
Yeah. Trying to do a hyzer flip, but pulled it a little bit.
But gets a good lie.
Still in the middle.
I'm plugged up to a resistor today, trying to deal with that headwind. Goes a little right, but I'm pretty happy with that lie.
Looks like Vanessa's throwing a Z Vulture, just a fairway driver.
Also pulls it a little right. We got a case of the Yanks here.
Yeah, this is a tough gap. I mean, it looks pretty wide open, but it's tough. But Vanessa with a nice out.
Vanessa.
Vanessa, yep. She'll have a putt at the bottom of the hill.
Kat, I assume she's going to throw just a simple upshot, trying to get this close, not trying to do anything special.
Yep, puts it right up to the basket.
On the good side. Here, I'm going to jump putt this, push putt it. I feel like it's a pretty safe run with a push putt. And I was wrong. Once again, leaving myself a comebacker with that roll away. And you did, watching that happen. I guess that kind of helped your decision.
Yeah, I knew I was going to lay up when I saw where I landed. The basket is a little higher than normal, I think. And there's that depth behind it. So
here I'm trying to clean up for par. And yeah, that's been the story of the day.
So it's pretty close to the basket, but that uphill can make it a little tough. No problem. She sinks it. Saves her par from off the fairway.
Couple tap-ins. This is a surprisingly tough hole. Oh, that was close.
Yes, it was.
Surprisingly tough hole for the length, only 279 feet. But the FPO field had 0 birdies.
Wow, really?
58% par, 42% bogey or worse. So it actually plays as a pretty difficult hole.
Yeah, even if you get, hit near the basket, the disc tends to skip left or skip down the hill. So even if you get pretty close to the basket, with the action of the green, it's kind of tough to give yourself kind of an easy putt.
On to hole 12. The last hole in the woods, 609 feet, par 5. A left to right downhill throw off the tee. Then it goes straight for about 250, 300 feet, then back up a hill to a right with quite a few trees to navigate to get access to the green, and then a little bit of slope and some little trees on the green. Definitely a very birdieable par 5.
Looks like Kat is flicking her D1.
Little high left.
Looks like Vanessa's going with her jawbreaker roach, doing the putter turnover approach.
Vanessa. Oh, that
that's
was
why that happened.
Unfortunate.
Weird kick on the fairway.
Throwing a relay. Flips up a little more than I'm looking for. Leaves me on the left side.
Looks like Kat is flicking her F7, just trying to get out into the middle of the fairway. Hit some trees, but she should be okay. And thanks to Waco for hosting such an awesome event. This course is awesome. This is my first time here.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
First time, and I loved it. Such a fun course.
I love it. I love this course, too. Great mix of holes. So back to the action.
Looks like Vanessa's lining up her putter again. Just good. If you just throw your putter and stay in the fairway, par. You could get a birdie, but, looks like you can stay in the fairway. Par is pretty doable as well.
Vanessa strikes again. She's thrown that disc
Perfect.
so well. And it's
Absolutely.
nice when you just throw the same disc over and over again. You really get to know it so well that gives you a lot of confidence.
Absolutely. Yep. I threw a putter turnover off the tee as well, and I landed just a little bit ahead of Vanessa, and I'm also throwing the same putter, just trying to keep it in the middle. I nicked that tree and luckily get a forward kick and left, so
Did you call that bank?
no. I'm not that good.
Trying to get out of trouble there, throwing a relay.
Looks like Kat's throwing her D1 again. She's gone flick, flick, flick on this hole and gets herself in a pretty decent position to get her par. Vanessa again going with the same disc, putter turnover. Comes in with a little bit of angle, and we thought it sat down, but must have stood up and rolled, and that left side is not fun.
It's really, really thick in there.
It's tough to get a look at the basket if you're inside of that.
I'm throwing a shock, just trying to get around the corner. Hits a little early. Also ends up in the death zone on the left side. Paige taking no time. Maybe that was the camera cut.
Pretty quick. I'm trying to throw the same thing, a straight to flippy putter shot. Looks like Kat's flicking her M2.
I think she's thrown sidearm on every shot.
Yep. She's kind of probably has a outside the circle putt.
Vanessa just trying to get the thing with the disc up, giving herself a look. She gets to the top of the hill. Still not much of a putt. I'm also on that same train. I thought I threw that shot better, but it hit that tree. Leave me a long, long putt.
I think Vanessa has a long putt as well inside circle 2. She's running it. It's a little high, but she committed. She ran for it. So she'll have a little
comebacker.
tester. Yeah. Kat's just trying to get decent footing. Probably just going to pitch up.
We're making this hole harder than it is right now.
There you go. Kat's under the
There
basket.
we go. Tap in. We like those.
First backhand of the hole. With the good jumper.
Oh, I thought I had that one. Little headwind, I think, coming off the open area.
Looks like Kat takes a 6, maybe?
Yeah, the birdie is tough to get today. Oh, a rare miss.
There's a little tailwind probably when she was putting.
Yeah.
So we'll have a tap in from there.
I am nervous on this putt, but I'm trying to block that out.
Boom, dead center. Way to block out the nerves. Stay focused. Still lots of golf left.
Great putt, way to play the hole.
It's definitely stoked on that one.
Yeah, that one plays as the third most difficult hole today. Paige with the birdie, and Paige Pierce is the only other one who got the birdie today. Must be a Paige thing. And 63% of the field got bogey or worse. And now we move out into the open. Hole 13's par 4, 555 feet. There's a Mando on the right-hand side. Most players are going to throw it straight up the gut, letting it fade left down the hill. There's also a sidearm line with an early hyzer. Doesn't get you quite the distance, but definitely a little bit safer of a play, leaving about 250 to 300 feet for an approach shot to a green with OB all around it.
I'm throwing my Opto Ballista Pro, trying to throw it flat, let it turn, and kind of hyzer out down the hill. Threw it a little lower than I wanted, but I still ended up in a decent spot. Looks like Kat is throwing her D1.
Little early.
Almost hitting the tree, but she ends up fine.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Throwing a Proton Trace. It was a little straighter than I'm expecting, but safe.
Vanessa's lining up a Z Nuke.
We have a raging headwind here. 25 miles an hour. Similar to the conditions that we experienced in the first round. So this is our second run at this hole under these conditions.
So hopefully we learned from the first time.
Throwing a Proton Photon. And I was not happy with this lie. I had a tree right in the way for me to get to the pin, and yeah, that was unimpressive.
It's like Vanessa's lining up a hyzer. Little hyzer flip up. Looks like it's coming. Oh,
Little tree kick just outside the circle.
she'll have a nice straddle putt. She's up against that tree. She'll have to deal with that, but she has a good look. It's like Cat's throwing probably her M2. She's trying to get close to the basket. A little short, but
Just inside the circle with a headwind putt.
I'm throwing my lucid verdict, trying to throw it hard and flat and let the disc do the work and fade out. Also a little bit short, but definitely inside the circle.
I am so far away from my third shot, I'm having to throw a shock, trying to get the disc close to the basket so I don't have to putt.
There you go. Right
Phew.
next to it. Vanessa's lining up a straddle putt just outside the circle.
Tough putt in a headwind.
Missed just a little right, but had the right height. Cat's lining up her birdie putt, probably 28-ish feet.
Lets the nose get into the wind. Push putting in the wind is really difficult.
Yes, it is. Couldn't quite commit that right to left wind. I was nervous about it pushing my disc and giving me a tester headwind. So last minute, I was like, don't miss high. And then, of course, I missed low. So I'm good with the tap in par, though, especially in the windy conditions. Cat taps in her par as well.
And nobody gets the birdie on the day.
Wow.
54% par, 46% bogey or worse. This hole's playing harder than it normally does.
It's a straight headwind. It's tough. Vanessa also tapping in a nice par.
Have a nice gallery out there. You see that Zuka banner in the background. Thank you, Zuka, for sponsoring the Pro Tour. So, a whole lot of pars there. I think that is our first star frame of the round. Lots of score separation on this course, so we're seeing lots of different scores. And on to hole 14, the second hole in the Open on the finish of the round. 303 feet. Going up the left side, moving from left to right with a sidewalk on the left, a road on the right, and the black ink discs
Wall.
in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cat is throwing her H1 V2. Probably trying to go straight up the middle. There's it a little high. Again, we're thrown into a headwind. But she got inside the circle.
Leaves herself a putt. I'm throwing a Proton Photon, the most stable disc in my bag. And that turns a whole lot more than I was expecting it to.
Yeah, this hole is a lot tougher than you would think, and especially with this wind. It looks like the discs are either getting high or turning over. Vanessa's throwing her Z nuke. Just throwing straight. Great shot. Also inside the circle.
We're in a recovery shot with a vector. Just trying to get it really close to the basket so I have a short putt in this headwind for my bogey save. And that is not what I was looking for. Oh, gosh. Gosh, those hurt. Now I'm leaving myself a long putt. You're laying up. Smart.
Yeah, my drive turned over quite a bit, so I was just trying to get my par. I went OB the day before, so I was just trying to keep it in bounds and get my par this time.
Cat for birdie. Again, kind of the same miss as the previous hole. Kind of giving the back underside of the disc to the wind. But she's still nice and close, so that will be a relatively standard par putt. Vanessa for 2. Looked a little tentative.
Yeah, those winds were tough. But with that hill behind it, She's
And
okay.
for the bogey save. Oh, goodness. I guess I probably could have guessed that was going to happen at this point.
Cat missed a short one.
Ooh,
I know
that
after that.
uncharacteristic.
Yeah, she said she was super distracted. There's music going on. There's people walking around, talking. So wasn't quite able to focus on that putt.
Yeah, they do play quite a bit of music there by the hole one and the putting green. And you can hear it from this green and the next tee pad. Kind of tournament central area there.
Tapping in my par. I double bogeyed the day before, so I'm stoked to get my par today.
And I'm there for the double bogey today. Ouch. Especially a sidearm hole. That one hurts. I need to get my game together. So surprisingly, still, even though we had only 2 pars, bogey, double bogey today on our card, nobody in the entire field got the birdie. So you guys are not losing any strokes to the rest of the field. Hole 15 is a par 4, 558 feet. We still have that massive headwind. This is a tricky tee shot. Backhanders are going to throw probably a fairway driver or a straight distance driver up the right side, hoping not to flex it too far over the fence and also to not let it hyzer into the road. Sidearm's going to go at the road, hoping to fade back into the fairway. The second shot's going to be a couple hundred feet to an even tighter green with the OB wall behind it, road on the left, and fence on the right. Very birdieable, but in this wind, anything can happen.
Yeah, so I threw my overstable distance driver, my Ballista Pro, and it just turned over way quicker than I anticipated. It was a pretty strong headwind on this hole. So I was pretty nervous, but thought I could trust the disc. Just didn't quite commit as much as I needed to. Vanessa's throwing her Z Nuke. Nice overstable distance driver. Maybe trying to make the correction for my shot and just doesn't quite put enough on it, and it hyzers out of bounds.
Early release. Yeah, do you think she's expecting that to turn like pretty far or do you think she missed it early?
I don't know. Probably seeing mine. I bet she expected a little more turn.
Cat also playing that left to right turn, hoping for some luck off the fence, and she gets it.
Throwing a D1. That was my plan. I wanted to at least hit low if I was going to turn it over, but didn't quite get it done.
Proton Photon. Most stable disc in my bag. Gets the job done.
Nice and inbounds. So Vanessa still has like a 300-ish
At
foot
least,
shot.
I think, yeah, at least.
She's probably throwing another distance driver. She's maybe trying to save her par. It is a par 4, so she can get up and down. She can still get her par save. Still dealing with the pretty big headwind.
Goes up the right side, turns it a little bit too much. Over the fence and out of bounds again. That's 2 in 1 hole. She is not happy about that.
So I want to be on the right side, so I have to take it from the fence. Fence is a little bit in my head. I'm a little nervous, but I'm just throwing in a Fusion Enforcer. Some overstable that I can put a lot of ante on and have it S back towards the basket. Unfortunately, the fence just got a little bit too much in my head and I early released, so out of bounds again. Me and Vanessa are twinsies.
This hole is playing really difficult.
Yes, it is.
I've just watched you guys do that, so I am like, I need to keep it in bounds, and I almost throw it out of bounds, too, but it gets a little skip.
There you go.
Off the road. I didn't know it went off the road. Seeing that for the first time.
It's like a 15, 20 mile per hour headwind, so it's incredibly hard. Looks like Cat is throwing an H1, just a nice overstable disc, just trying to stay in bounds. Pulls it a little right and super high. The wind's just grabbing it, but luckily hits a branch and kicks it down inside the circle.
Fortunate.
Very fortunate. She has a headwind putt. Tester putt inside the circle. But I don't doubt she can give it a good run. Vanessa's probably throwing a putter. She's trying to get up and down to save her double bogey.
Perfect.
She does it.
Here I am just trying to get it close. I had to club up because of the headwind.
Yes, at this point, because I'm pretty far away, I'm not trying to run it. I'm just trying to get up under the basket. I know I'm losing quite a few strokes to Cat, so I'm just trying to keep the damage minimal.
Leave yourself a little tester.
I know. Oh, I was pretty upset.
Cat for birdie. Wow.
Wobble, wobble into the basket.
Wow. That
Or-
must be how you push putt in the wind, right?
Apparently.
You have to do that perfect wobble, undulating left to right.
But, I mean, it went in. That's a great
No,
birdie.
I know, right? I was so impressed.
Great birdie.
So hard to push
with...
putt in that wind. Little high, but sneaks it in there.
Yep, stoked to save my double bogey. Unfortunately, I was bogey free until this hole, and then got a double bogey. So I was pretty upset. Lost 3 strokes to Cat on the hole, so not a happy camper.
So 3 par 4s left here.
Tough
All
ones,
of them
too.
are trouble. The last 2 especially, you can take a 3 or you can take a big number.
Glad to get that hole over with.
Yeah, that hole actually is the second most difficult hole on the course. And Kat got it in this crazy wind, and Rebecca also got it. But 54% of the field went bogey or worse. Hole 16 is a 585-foot par 4, basically a distance drive off the tee into this massive headwind that we've had the whole day. There is a road on the left and a sidewalk and fence on the right, leaving you a couple hundred feet for an approach shot to a pyramid basket. Shout out to Kids Disc Golf for sponsoring the Pro Tour.
Looks like you can see the headwind, Kat's hair. Kat is lining up her D1. She's trying to get as far out into that field as she can. She throws it low, cut
Seems like she
rolls.
slipped on the tee there.
I know after she threw, she said she wanted to keep it low, but not that low, and laughed at herself. So
Oh, that's good. Keeping it
yeah,
light.
keep it light. Yeah, so she'll have a tough look for birdie from there, but should have a decent look at par.
I'm throwing a Proton Photon, the most overstable disc in my bag, right over the Infinite Discs wall. And I'm happy with that.
Thanks to Infinite Disc for sponsoring this event. We really appreciate it. I'm throwing my Dynamic Discs Fusion Enforcer, just some overstable that can fight the wind. I also throw it kind of low, but I still made it kind of a little bit down the fairway, so I'm not too upset. Just trying to get as far out as I can. Vanessa's lining up her Z Nuke again. Doing a nice hyzer flip.
Big turn.
Yep, nice fade at the end. She'll have a good open shot to the basket.
Kat's got a lot of work here. Maybe 400 feet still to go.
Definitely using a distance driver, trying to get the S shot. Looks like the flight's nice, but she hits that tree and she settles down.
That tree is certainly in the way. It's got kind of some low-hanging branches on the left side, but the right side is nice and open, so it's a little more tasty to go that direction, which looks like that was your choice, coming in nicely.
Yeah, I was trying to aim for that gap, get as close to the basket as I could. I threw it as hard as I could, but that headwind didn't let me quite get to the basket. So we still have a pretty easy up and down for par, and in this wind, I'm pretty stoked.
I'm trying to throw it low under that tree branch and get a fade to the right to get close to the basket. Pretty much what I was looking to do. Doesn't quite get the fade I'm looking for, so I'm outside the circle.
Looks like Vanessa's gonna go probably that right gap. Probably an overstable distance driver, probably another nuke. Just looks like she maybe early released it a little.
She's going for that gap again.
Oh. It's both trees, unfortunately. Kicks backwards, but she'll have another look at the basket. Looks like she's throwing an overstable mid-range.
It's like a zone.
Yeah, letting that wind carry it.
Little short, leaving her a headwind putt.
Looks like Kat's throwing a putter as well, just trying to get up there. Throws it a little low. She'll have a tester.
You're not even trying there. Well, you're trying. My bad. You're trying. You're trying in the right way.
Yeah, I just want my par at this point.
I'm also laying up.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, outside the circle in a massive wind with an elevated basket, you have to have some pretty good confidence to run putts like that. And Kat does.
I just did. She missed a little high. Luckily, she sat down, and she'll have a tap in from there.
Vanessa for par. Ooh.
Gives it a good run, but
easy to happen in that right to left headwind with an elevated basket. That's probably the most common miss.
So I have my tap in par, and I'm super awesome and super excited that I had that. I just gained a stroke on Kat, who just got a bogey. And looks like Vanessa's putting for her bogey as well.
And you didn't lose a stroke to anybody else in the field, as there were no birdies on this hole. 50% par, 50% bogey.
It's a tough hole with this wind.
Which is basically how our card played it. We are par for the course. So we're getting down to the last two holes. You have pulled ahead by 2. And these 2 holes, anything can happen. There's water, there's distance, there's touchy approach shots. Hole 17, par 4, 530 feet. The ladies are teeing from a tee slightly shorter than the men. The initial shot is going to be from left to right, up a hill, trying to get somewhere near those 2 trees you see on the left side. And then it's a choose your own adventure to the green with water on the left, a wall on the right, and a pretty strong tailwind off the tee. This one is one of the most difficult holes on the course. And I'm stepping up with my trace.
It's a good forehand hole.
Off the tee for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose the whole way.
Mm-hmm. Nice left to right. I'm throwing my Lucid X Maverick, trying to just throw straightish, a little bit right. Just trying to give myself a good look to that thin landing zone towards the basket. And I was pretty happy with this.
Have you considered that inside route?
Yes, a lot. But
yeah? No, don't want to go for it?
No, I practiced it. And I'm not quite sure I would have the confidence in the tournament. Looks like Kat is using her M2.
Also going the wide route.
And Vanessa's using her ESP Buzz. Just trying to throw straight to understable mid-range. Oh,
speaking of inside routes.
Inside route. There you go.
I really like that route. I actually was even considering it sidearm. But I feel like it kind of pinches off that corner a bit, but super dangerous as well.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to throw an understable putter. The wind is pushing actually right to left, so pushing towards the water. So if I knew if I threw a flippy putter flat, it would get some push.
Which, that was perfectly executed.
Looks like Kat's throwing her D1. She goes hyzer over that, so all that she's flying over is out of bounds.
Wow, that is such a tough shot and so much risk reward, and it works out for her.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to flex a shot around this tree that's kind of in my way, flexing right to the water and throwing a very overstable disc, expecting that to hook up towards the basket. And I flexed it right into the middle of the water. I really want that disc back, so if anybody can grab that one, it's like pin high in the middle of the water.
This is such a tough shot.
Hit me up.
It's very thin and very intimidating with that water. Looks like Vanessa's using her Z Buzz again, or ESP Buzz again, with that right to left push, pushes her right out of bounds.
Just laying up here. I went OB 2 for 2 both rounds. Kat with a big putt from outside the circle.
Bangs it.
Wow.
I didn't realize her upshot got that far.
Me neither. That shows why she's one of the top Circle 2 putters right there. And Paige lining up her birdie shot as well.
And I was a wimp. Man, I didn't even get halfway to the basket. I was pretty embarrassed after Cat drained that, and then I couldn't even get there.
Oh, you hit the pole, though. Come on now. I would say that's more than halfway to the basket.
I just dropped
You're so hard on
halfway.
yourself.
But Vanessa makes a great par save. Her buzz ended up crossing her last place she crossed in bounds was close to the basket, so she got a good putt for par.
I'm tapping in my bogey.
I'm tapping in my par. Usually I'm happy with a par, but man, I wanted that putt.
You had just gotten that one on Cat, and now she just got one right back. And actually, Cat got one on the entire field, as she was the only birdie on the day.
Dang.
With actually 71% of the field bogeyed it.
That's tough.
So, wow, it played as the hardest hole today. And you guys are one stroke apart going into the final hole of the second to last round. Hole 18, par 4, 492. A big body of water right in the middle of the fairway. Most players are going to play up the left side, leaving them a second shot over the water that are trying to get close enough to make a birdie putt. There is also an eagle opportunity if you have the distance to get there. It is slightly downhill, and we have a tailwind today. So this might be the shot to go for.
Looks like Kat's throwing her D1, and she is playing the safe route. Just gets a nice hyzer, not wanting it to skip much, and she settles down nicely. I'm throwing my Fusion Enforcer against something just overstable. Trying to S it, get as far down that fairway as I can so my next shot is short. Vanessa's throwing a Z Vulture. Also playing that safe route. It's a little bit of a lift, but she'll have an easy
That was
approach shot.
Textbook identical, all three of you. And then there's me with the overstable disc on a hyzer. Try to just get it in bounds. I don't need to get too far up the way because I feel like it's still just 250 feet across the water, roughly. So I'm not worried about getting distance. I'm just trying to place it. And also same disc, throwing a shock sidearm.
Nice S shot. Perfectly placed.
I'm really happy that I have a tap in to finish.
It's like Vanessa's throwing probably her zone, a nice overstable mid-range, throwing the hyzer. That mulch, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Grabs her disc nicely. Kat's also throwing a hyzer with her PA1.
Leaving some testers for him. Little right to left wind.
That was the furthest I've ever been, even in practice. So I was just trying to throw a straight putter, and I thought I threw it well. Got a bunch of skip. Luckily stayed in bounds. I was surprised that I went that deep, actually. So I have pretty tough footing, but I really want this birdie. So I have kind of a half straddle, just trying to get there. Ugh, and I missed high.
Into a headwind.
I was surprised I was in line with it. I was honestly just hoping to...
That was a great run.
Okay.
Vanessa for birdie.
Boom.
As she does, puts it in. Great finish.
Great finish. It's a good birdie to get, especially in that wind.
Cat also lining up the birdie. Right to left wind. Not so good for a push putt, but she makes good work of it.
Another great birdie. Great way to finish. She finished, what, birdie on 2 tough holes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to finish. Also good birdie. I ruined the star birdie. It's okay. It's okay, it's fine.
It happens on a tough hole like that. I've taken like 6s and 7s and big numbers on that hole, so...
Could be worse.
Yeah, par is good.
Great putt by Cat.
So, a lot of birdies there. And 1 par, and that puts you and Kat knotted up at the top with a -7. Both of you shooting the exact same scores each round. -3 the first day, -4 the second day. It is shaping up to be a wonderful battle here going into the last round of the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Thanks for tuning in.